Hey everyone, welcome back to the Glowtips YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to show you how to do a nice and easy poly nail gel design, of course featuring some of the Glowtips poly nail gel. So let's just get straight into the video. So you want to start off the design on a base. Here I already have applied some nail tips, and these nails also needed a bit of a fill, so I'm gonna also show you how to do that. You want to start off by cleansing off all the nails to make sure there's no dirt or oils on them, and this is going to help for our base coat to stick the best. You want to wipe down your nails using alcohol or acetone, and once your nails are nice and clean, you can go ahead and start applying your base coat. But first I'm going to show you all the colors we're using today. So these are some of the Glowtips poly nail gels that we have, and I'm also using a random glitter, but you can use whatever glitter poly nail gel you want. So I'm going to be mixing crystal clear and pure white to create milky white, and of course I'm using the Glowtips brush and spatula as well as the slip solution. So let's get started with the base. I'm going to apply a thin layer of the Glowtips base coat, and you want to apply this to the entire nail. Once you've applied your base coat, don't forget to cure this in the Glowtips UV light for about 60 seconds. When applying the base coat, make sure you wipe off the excess in the neck of the bottle, otherwise you're going to risk getting base coat on your skin. If you start getting gel on your skin within the first step, this is going to cause a lifting and probably poor adhesion to the nail bed. So I would recommend that you just go in with very thin layers, and of course use a cleanup brush when needed. Next, I'm going to apply my pure white and crystal clear mixture, and I'm going to use the slip solution in a little dampen dish and a paper towel to wipe off the excess. Next, I'm gently patting and pulling the poly gel where it needs to go. You want to make sure to apply a thin layer of this, as you also need to start creating your ombre. Use the tip of the brush to lightly feather the product towards the cuticle. This is going to create a nice and effortless ombre effect. This is a very easy way to create an ombre, and personally one of my favorites. Next, I'm also going to remove any excess and make sure that the nail looks perfect just before I cure it for 60 seconds. The next step is optional, but you can definitely use some sort of glitter to just bring a little bit extra sparkle to the nail. Here we decided to go with a little bit of this fine iridescent glitter and just lightly brush that over the nail. Then after curing that for 60 seconds, you want to go in with your nail bed color, and you want to start by gently pushing this up towards the cuticle, apply a very medium sized bead, and then start to make your way down. As you make your way down, you want to start gently feathering the nail bed color into your white. By doing this, you're going to connect the ombre and also create a beautiful pink to white transition. This is personally one of the best ways to create an ombre, but of course there are other type of techniques as well. So once you're happy and satisfied with your blend, just make sure that it is perfect to your liking, and then go ahead and cure that for 60 seconds. Now I'm going in with the crystal clear from Glowtips, and I'm going to just encapsulate everything. It's probably best not to bring the clear up all the way to the cuticle, since the nail bed color does not need to be protected. The goal of this encapsulation is to protect the ombre. Therefore, I'm just focusing the clear where the transition is happening. For this next nail, you want to grab the same nail bed color and apply this to the tip of the nail. This nail will be a croc print nail, therefore you want the tip to be the same color as the nail bed. Here we're doing a thin layer of the nail bed color and just making sure that it's nice and even. Once that's done, this will be cured for about 60 seconds. Once the nail has been done curing, you want to take some base coat and apply this to the tip of the nail. Alternatively, you can also use some blooming gel. Next, you want to take the Glowtips solid white gel polish, and you want to use this to create your croc print design. This is very simple, as you can just create some lines going down the tip of the nail and then some dots on the side. Let this spread until you're happy, and then cure for 60 seconds. Once that's done, go ahead with that nail bed color again and use this as an ombre into your croc print nail. Make sure to keep the cuticle area nice and thin. as you don't want to cause any lifting, and you definitely want to make this look as seamless as possible. And once you're done, you definitely want to start making that fade down the nail just like so. And once you're happy, then cure the nail for about 60 seconds. Now it's time to protect the nail, so you want to go in with the crystal clear poly nail gel and just use this where the transition has happened. This is going to make sure that when you file the nails, it's going to protect that transition and it won't ruin any of that pink nail bed color. For this next nail, it's going to be a very simple nude nail, so we're going to go ahead and use that nail bed color all the way down the nail. Remember to keep cleaning your brush off into the slip solution, as the poly nail gel can definitely begin to start getting stuck in the brush, making the application process very tricky. This is going to lead to a very sticky application, and it's not going to look smooth and flawless, and you're just going to be left with a bumpy surface. So make sure that when the product does get stuck in the brush, then dip it in the slip solution and wipe it off very well on some paper towel. For this next nail, we're going ahead with the milky white once again, and we're going to be ombreing this up towards the cuticle. This is going to be the same for the pinky finger, and this is going to create a very nice and smooth transition. Make sure that you get these sidewalls as well, because a lack of product at the sidewalls can definitely lead to breakage and chipping. So this is very important. Make sure that you are checking that your polygel is even by looking at the nail from different angles, and this is really going to help you ensure that you get a nice, even and smooth application. Again, using the tip of the brush, make sure that you are gently feathering that product up. You want to use very light pressure, and then we're going ahead with that glitter. If you don't have any poly nail gel glitter, you can also use any kind of loose glitter, or optionally just leave this step out. Once that is done, both of those layers were cured, and now we're going ahead with this beautiful nail bed color once again, and again making sure that the cuticle area is nice and thin, just using a little tiny bead to just kind of fill in that area, and then we're bringing it down to the white and transitioning it. Again, please remember to use a very light hand, as this is key to creating a very nice and smooth transition. If you apply too much pressure when creating your transition, you will end up having too much product being pulled into the white, which will then mix the colors up, and your white will start to kind of mix with the pink. This is something that we don't want, as we definitely want a nice clear transition between the two colors. When you see that your colors are starting to overlap, just remove it with some slip solution or rubbing alcohol and repeat the process again. Now, to finally finish off these nails, we're going to do a final layer of crystal clear encapsulation, again focusing on where the transition is happening. After curing the nails, grab the Glowtips 180 side of the hand file and use this to file your sidewalls in. Once you have your surface and sidewalls filed in, you can go ahead and file the cuticle area. However, you can optionally use an e-file. Here I'm using an e-file with a barrel bit to just smooth over the surface and clean up my cuticle area. You can also watch some of our previous videos which show how we hand file polygel nails and how to get the perfect cuticle area and overall smooth finish of the nail. However, this is a very good and quick way to also be able to file your nails, as it saves a lot of time, especially when you only need to do very minimal filing. Once that's done, we're grabbing the Glowtips 180 buffer, and we're using this to buff the surface of the nails and underneath the nails very, very well. Now we're going to remove the dust, and we're going to start decorating our nails. So here I'm just using some of the Glowtips base coat, followed by a little bit of top coat, and this is going to be where we apply our crystals. Again, this step is optional. Of course, you can leave these nails as they are. However, in this video, we're going to be creating something a little bit more extra, something a little bit more fun as well. So again, base coat, then top coat, and then you want to apply your crystals of choice. And once you have applied your crystals, don't forget to cure your nails for a good 60 seconds in the Glowtips LED nail lamp.
Artlist.io.
If you don't have a wax pencil, you could always use some tweezers to apply your rhinestones, and this is going to make it very easy to apply. However, if you do have a wax pencil, this would be easier. Now just finishing off the rest of the nails with a nice generous layer of top coat, and again, don't forget to cure these for a good 60 seconds in your light. And now it's time for the final step. We're going to go ahead and apply cuticle oil of your choice, and make sure to rub this in very well. Once you have rubbed your nails in very well, that is your finished look completed. And this is what the nails are looking like. I hope you guys found this video helpful and learned a couple tips on how to do these stunning poly nail gel nails using the Glowtips products. All the products will be linked down below in the description box. And as always, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and stay tuned for more of our videos.
Music licensing reimagined.